but it depends on us and incumbent upon us. How do we want people to see certain issues that are happening? Sometimes it could be mere recklessness on the side of some people, or just wanting to go out there to break news. But we have to also think upon ourselves, the news that we are breaking, is it something that is fit for consumption? Am I putting it to the correct or right group of people to hear? News comes in different way, and it is digested in different forms by different group of people in the society. The way I see and feel about issues is different from the way you see things and feel it. So it's that goes on to play how ethical we are when it comes to our role in sending messages out there. This issue of COVID-19 would, let me just take for instance of that, would have been better on the ground if the media didn't show it then. People wouldn't even know. But then it is through our advocacy and our role that people became to know about what the virus is all about, what somebody needs to do in order to keep oneself safe.
That's beautiful. And I will push you to this one too, where I will be like, you have given how media is and like the healthy and unhealthy information, how they are spread, and like why, tell us a little bit about your journey into journalism. Maybe I think that one will be always good.
Actually, it has something that has always been me since when I was young, and especially when I was in primary school. I was inspired by Fatou Sane Cissé, who is a household name in the country.
Exactly.
Like, I used to watch her on TV doing news presentation. By then I didn't even know much about journalism, but I just loved the way she does the presentation. So then it came a time when I was in primary school and she was invited in our speech and prize giving day, and then we acted as presenters on that particular day. Yes, exactly. And I had the opportunity to saw her at first. So I went through, and then the passion was all in me, and I said I was going to be a journalist until I started my grade 9 exams. And grade 10 I went to Methodist Academy to do arts. So immediately before I finished doing arts, my parents were of this view that I can't be a journalist because of how the place was then. They were like, yes, it was not healthy. You can't be a journalist. I told them that now, if I can't be a journalist, let me just be a lawyer. And they said no. And then they push and pull here and there. And I said yes. So immediately I finished my grade 10, I had to move to Gambia High to do science. I started back again, grade 10, and I started with science. And grade 10, grade 11, I said, yes, my dream of becoming a journalist is already gone. I can't be a journalist. So I moved, and I said, now I want to become a psychologist because I was doing pure science. So when we went through, most of my classmates knew how I was. My behavior all looks like an art student, exactly, and a journalist. So when I reached grade 12, I had one of my classmates then, he's also a science student, but we have this PIE, that the President International Award club in the school. So they used to have these programs that they have, and they reach the skill and interest aspect of the club or whatsoever. So one of them came to me, he said, though you are not part of us, but I want to give you an opportunity. If actually you want to be a journalist, this is the opportunity for you to go ahead. The person's name is Omar Sise. So I said, okay, the skill and interest. So you tell them your skill and which place of interest. So my skill was to become a journalist, and the interest was CRTS. So I started in October 2012. So he facilitated everything, and I started there. When I got myself there, it was like a dream come true for me. And then like the passion, the work as a journalist is passion driven. So I wanted to know everything. I was never relenting in what I wanted to know. My main focus there is to get to know every bit of what involves one to be a good journalist. Then I will close school. By then I was in my grade 12, and I was even supposed to go for my mock exams. I will close school. Immediately after school, I will go straight to GRTS. Exactly. Exactly. Imagine I have to keep my lunch because some of my parents didn't know. So I have to keep my lunch to save it for fare, to go to GRTS, and I come back. So I will not even eat at school. That gives you the unquenchable task for me just to know what I wanted to learn. So when the 3 months elapsed, I told them that no, it was supposed to be 6 months. So 3 months into my mock exams, I told them that I don't think I will be able to continue because I am supposed to go and start my mock exams and all of that. So they saw the zeal in me to learn every bit. So they were like, yes, your 3 months is over, but go back to school, complete your exams, and then you can come back and complete the other 3 months. I did that. I completed everything, and immediately I finished school until I graduated on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I went back to GRTS and I started. So that there was nothing bothering me. I had to explain to my parents that I can sit at home, but I want to engage myself in something. So I went into GRTS, I started. I went with almost all the reporters that I found there to know how each of them write their stories and everything. So I was able to acquaint myself with the different skills, and this got me. I go everywhere. With the zeal, they assign me on different coverages that maybe some of the staff there were not even assigned to go. I go on treks and I go everywhere because I just wanted to know. I just wanted to learn and everything. And it was just good for me. I felt so good. That time I wasn't paid, but I loved it.
Exactly.
Even if they tell me, I told them that as far as the skill that is being given to me, that alone is enough for me, and I went further. So in my attachment got finished. So I told them that now I think it's high time for me to go back. They said no, now that it's finished, but you can still come on voluntary basis. And I agreed. I went on until in 2014,
Who would
July.
tell a fisherman you want to drink?
Exactly. So in 2014, July, I was given my letter as a permanent staff. And even before I got into this issue of permanent staff, by then it is only those staff or senior reporters or editors that go into the news editing desk. But for me, by then, Babukar Senghor and Babukar Senghor and Famara Fofana were there. So they also saw the zeal in me that I wanted to know every bit. So they took me in as a part-time assistant editor. So I have to go and transcribe the internationals and help direct the news and all of those alone. By then we have the, yes, exactly. At that time I think I was the only female assistant editor there. At some point it went to an extent I was even taking, it was not officialized, but they accepted and allowed me to do the editing duties and all of that. I became the only female editor there. And at some point I was editing on 3 days, and I just loved it. They were like,
this would even mean like you're the first female editor in the Gambia.
Yeah.
GRTS was the first TV.
Yeah.
And in 2010 there was still like other TV, so I can say maybe you're the first female editor in the Gambia.
And the youngest at that time. It is only in this year that I have all of my other colleagues like Janke, Ture,
I wish I could give you a medal here.
Wow,
you got the first.
Like I just loved the job and I wanted to do anything. Everything ladder. Even video editing, it was not even part of my job because you have video editors then. So that was this day I came back with a story and I wanted my story to come on the news, but there was no editor. I was so furious, so I was mad.
Go getters.
Yes, everybody was just editing and I was like, I called one of the editors, as far as you don't want to edit for me, tell me how do you separate the voice from the picture? He told me that this is how you do. I told him, thank you. Now I'm going to edit my story. When you are done, you come and cross-check everything.
Wow.
I did everything and he came and met me and I was like, look through. He was like, how did you do this? I told him that I monitor every step that you guys do. So my only problem was separating the picture from the sound, and now I could. So that was how I was able to do this editing stuff and everything. The job of a journalist is passion driven. You could only go through when you have the passion. If you don't have the passion, you cannot go to some level. In 2016, I was given the chance to travel to the US with the former vice president, that is Aissatou Njie Seydi. And I was the first reporter in GRTS that was sending reports live as it happened in the US. So the first day I was there, they didn't even knew that I sneaked my laptop and went with it to the US. So I packed everything and we went. After the first program, I struggled to do. It was messy for me my first day in the US.
Like,
God.
Yeah,
it was just disgusting. I couldn't sleep. Imagine where we stayed and the office is 2 hours drive. So when you come back, you have to cover all those proceedings. The first day we covered, I wrote and I sent my script to Famara Fofana. Then he was also so inspired. He would be like, yes, you can do it, do it. So you see those things, you have people like that. I'll be just like, I'll be able to do it. So I edited my script and I sent it to him. He sent it back to me. I went to the embassy and I voiced it. So I edited everything. I tried everybody online at the office. I couldn't get through. So I saw my DG secretary online and I told her, kindly go to the newsroom and tell them that I have a story. The DG had it and he was like, how comes? How did Aissatou do this? By then Sabali was, Momodu Sabali was our DG, yeah. And he was like, how did Aissatou did this? And he was like, yes, he went to the news and told Senghor, help, kindly facilitate. Aissatou sent the story. They saw the story, they were all amazed. They were like, it was just good. So I felt so good. Everybody was texting, your story was good, you did great. to an extent, they even have to connect me with the help of Lamin Kant of iAfrica TV to connect me live to speak with them live in the news about all the happenings in the US. These were everything. Sometimes the work is so tense and it's very difficult per se. Sometimes you feel there is nothing, it's not worth it, you receive insults. But sometimes you inspire maybe one or two people.
Exactly.
Or the work you do make some people happy. Even if it is one, it is worth continuing, celebration and continuing to do the work. And I have people that I work with. So sometimes the environment is so crazy, but some of them believe in what my ability and what I can do. So that keeps me going and all of this. Sometimes I'm so much overwhelmed with work. I'll be like, I'm just going to leave. Some of my work colleagues will be like, you think you are the only person here, you do everything, you don't say no to anything. I said, because this is what I want to do. This is my life.
Passion. That's what I
call
passion.
Passion. Yeah. So everything was there. I just love the job.
I know.
I don't have a life, you know. Wow. People just tell me. My mom will just sit and ask me, what type of a life do you live? My entire life is at the office.
I want to be at the office.
Yes.
I want to do it.
I will be at the office from 7 a.m. sometimes until after 11 at night before I get. When I get home, I'm already exhausted. I take bath and I sleep. The next day, I follow the same routine. Then I used to go to school. That is at the university, but I've completed my first degree. So from home, I'll go to school. From school, I'll go to work. I'll go back to school, and then from there, I'll go home. That triangle was too much for me.
Like, I have to go this way.
But that's so amazing, you know. It's so amazing, and it can inspire
but
other people.
That is the journey is not tough, but at the end of the tunnel, there is light, and that is when you tend to see the impact of the work you've been doing and all that. But I love my job.
I know.
So the young ladies down there, this is an inspiration.
Exactly.
You can do better than this.
You know, I just want to relate this like her story. I want to relate it to I Can't Breathe.
Yeah.
It was disturbing and knee on the neck, and someone cried out, I can't breathe. But today he's breathing in heaven.
Exactly, yeah.
No matter what difficulties you pass through, have passion of what you're doing, and you will celebrate it. So this comes to Mr. Usainu, Gambia flag, Usainu, Gambia, everything. I want to know what inspired you, Usainu.
Flag of that.
We have Gambia flag here, and the Gambia got independence since 1965.
Yeah.
And I am sure the flag existed before 1965. It was never celebrated.
Exactly.
No one cares. All I know is like that's the Gambian flag. When it's independent, we raise the flag there, and when we go into an Olympic or whatsoever, we have a flag there. But you said I'm going to celebrate the Gambian flag.
Yeah, and thank you so much, and let me thank the viewers again. Flag of Gambia as an initiative, and I think it came in a way when I, as a Gambian, sit in my corner, think of what can I do for the country, like. The normal slogan is think of what you can do for the country before thinking of what the country can do for you.
Very well, yeah.
So to solve a problem, to contribute to national development, I think you have to sit and analyze and look at the dimension. Okay, because there's always something to do. And I used to tell young people, like, we have a lot of success, but we have a lot of issues also, problems in the Gambia. And these are the problems that when we are not willing to solve, then we cannot make the Gambia a better place for all. So me, since then, this Gambian thing was in me. Those who know me since that childhood. And I think, so when I sit in my corner, I realize that one thing we are facing in the Gambia is, one problem we are facing, we are not moving together as a nation, is the lack of patriotism in our mindset. Okay, we lack this sense of patriotism, this sense of nationalism. I used to use media, I use social media so much, but all what I do most of the time is to follow what is happening in other countries. What are these countries doing? They are human beings like us. They have the same brain like Gambians. So I realized that most of these countries, the love for the country, even the American people are talking about, is because of the concept of America first. That's what is keeping them going. So I realized that we have to build the sense of patriotism in the mindset of every Gambian. How can that happen? That means you have to come out with something that is unique, that is Gambian, that is not you. Whenever you talk about it, people are not seeing you, they are seeing the Gambia. And it's something that whenever you talk about it, everyone is not seeing it's for Sware, it's for you, but it's inclusive. So then, and I'm someone also, based on my activities, students will invite me to talk to them about issues. And most of the topic I enjoy talking about is patriotism and nationalism, that's togetherness, because I realize that's the only thing that can bring us together as Gambians and move this country forward. Like the national flag says, we must come together as one people with one goal and move forward as one nation. That cannot happen if that Gambianism is not here. So I have this slogan, this SASTA called the Gambian in us. So you have to build that. You have to that Gambian in you. Then I say, okay, let me come with something unique. Then what about the national flag? That represents everyone. That is something that was dying since independence. The only time I feel so bad that you go to public institutions, you see an empty pole, you go to public institutions, a flag was hung there for almost 5 years. You cannot even differentiate the color, it's rock and all those things. And people don't tend to respect it. Then I make findings. I said, okay, now let me use the flag as a unique symbol that talk about nationality. Though I found out, met the Louis Tomasi family, talk to them about what I'm about to do, meet some various Gambians and talk to them what I want to do. And a lot of people appreciate it. So then I start going to schools, communities, talk to kids about flag of Gambia. The issue is not only about the flag, but what it entails. That togetherness, that patriotism, that nationalism. I remember I went to a school, we were talking about civic education, and a child asked a question about Usainu Gambia, who owns the Gambia? You know, I realized that these are things that they had in their parents' home, talking about the differences, like in Mandinka or in Nino Monfi or Antaratama Janti. Okay, so such things, you know, parents can talk about things that children can, you know. So that was a very difficult question. So at the beginning, but something inspiration came in me. When the child said, who owns the Gambia? Then I said, can we all stand up and read the first part of the national anthem? And they all stood up and said, for the Gambia, our homeland. I said, that's the answer to your question. For the Gambia is our homeland. It's not the Jolas, it's not the Mandinkas, it's not the Fulas, it's not the Akus. But the anthem says it's our homeland. To my surprise, a child stood up and said, even the national flag, the green says River Gambia, not River Jola, not River. I said, okay, then this is what I was looking for. Then the flag can be a unique symbol. Because the child is trying to relate what I told them in regards to the flag. So then I said, okay, I use the flag to inspire people. What we do first is, you cannot tell people about the value and the importance of the national flag when children are not seeing flags where? Because they don't value it, because they don't see it. So I decided to, it was a lot of sacrifice though, deep hand in pocket, go and make flags, go to public institutions, meet directors, you don't have a flag, you should have it. So we raise a flag. If you told me that, okay, by next week I'll try and make sure, I say, no, I already have a flag, so that there's no waste time. So we raise it. I think it happened in the ferry terminal, ferry Kunda Kinte, and I was crossing and the flag was not in a good condition. And I realized that as a Gambian, this is a crossing point that every visitor, important visitor will enter in the country. So you cannot be using the ferry for the first time in the Gambia and see our national flag in that condition. So I go and talk to the captain. I still thank that captain. He was very understanding and welcomed the idea that thousands of people pass here with people with highest authorities pass here, but no one talk about this. So we are going to give you that privilege if you have a flag. So I go and buy an original flag, then I go and raise it. So I think that's where everything starts. It runs on social media, everyone talking about it's called. I say, okay, now I'm going to use the flag to preach this movement, patriotism, nationalism, togetherness, irrespective of the tribe, the politics you are belong to. Because when you talk about the flag, it's not Usainu, it's you, it's he, it's she, it's a Gambian thing. So when that starts, schools start calling, institutions start calling, you enter the Banyan Hospital, you raise the flag here. Sometimes when I pass, I see the flag flying, the CRC, TRRC, even private institutions like the banks, you know, the banks, they all come. So schools start calling. Then I have to write to the ministry, in fact, to talk to them about the issue. And I will also thank them. The ministry approved that all schools in the Gambia will be raised with the national flag. They are going to work with me to make sure. I think that after that later, then the COVID-19 issue came. So that's what we are going to discuss at the latter part, the impact it caused. So when we resume schools, all schools in the Gambia will be raised with the national flag. I so feel very happy when I go to a particular school. Before the assembly, we raise the flag. So immediately when the assembly is over, the children will sing in the anthem. That's the first time they are seeing the flag in their school. So when they are singing the anthem, they will all be looking at in one direction. So you can see that is uniqueness, that togetherness. At that point, they are all thinking about Gambia. No one is even knowing who's grade 6, grade 3, or Mandinka or this thing. And after the assembly, during break, you see all of them will go and row. So it can show you how things we tend to neglect can build the concept of terrorism.
Certainly.
So this is one thing about Flower Gambia, and we come with a march past the first time. We bring all kids on street a weekend before last independent in Banjul and came here. So it was so successful, and this Flower Gambia here for every Gambian. So sometimes I feel very bad when people say, I passed CR. Sometimes someone called and said, I passed at CRC. And I saw your flag flying. I said, no, you did not saw my flag. You saw the Gambian flag. Yeah. So that's why we call it Flower Gambia. As I'm talking to you, we also use advocacy, because some people listen to TV, some people listen to radio. Some people watch TV, some people listen to radio. Some listen music. You can communicate to people. People like receiving communication in different way. So also try to make sure sketch something that is songs to make sure that you go to schools, you teach children the song, they love it. So recently, not long ago, we made one song with an artist, Gambian artist called Lillian, called Flower Gambia. Very inspirational and unique. It talk about Gambia. And we are currently shooting a video for the song. And in the video the concept is we are capturing all political party leaders in that video.
Wow.
And inspirational Gambians, local government authorities in the same video. And some inspiring youth, students, people from different women, soldiers, teachers. So that whoever watch that, you see, okay, Flower Gambia says, this is what the song preach. If we have different thing, if I have a political issue with him, but you see all our party leaders, everyone talking about the same thing, and then you say, hey, there's something that brings us together.
I think these are issues that helps our younger generation, because we've already seen how our older people are behaving at this point in time. Maybe somehow it might be a bit difficult to bring them together again.
Exactly.
But then the younger ones that are coming, it is quite incumbent upon us to make sure that we build that sense of togetherness within them, so that we shouldn't allow this issue of politics and all of that to divide us.
Exactly.
But then one thing should only be our focus. How best do we contribute together or work together meaningfully to see the common good of the country?
Exactly.
Many countries are far ahead of us, because of when it comes to developmental issues, they put their differences aside and then move together. But that we don't have in us at this point in time. The COVID couldn't have gotten worse if we laid everything aside,
we are fighting together,
and then come together. It might not be even too late for us to even come together still, but that effort of yours is quite very phenomenal, and it's quite very significant in the quest to ensure that we become better together as a nation and work for the common good. Maybe we might not see it at this point, but then in the years to come also, all of these efforts that you are putting in place, you one day sit and smile. This was all my
exactly,
and then the results will
and I have to acknowledge some people. Like when I started, every Gambian appreciated it now. There's this boy in Bunju, so slim guy, you know, okay, but so they just came up. But at the end of the day now, so we are even institutionalizing it now, so that even Suare will see himself as he is the pioneer.
Wow.
You see yourself as you are the pioneer, not Usienu. So it's not like Usienu, right? What happened with Usienu go today? So that's why we are working on institutionalizing to make sure that.
One thing that somehow surprises, how are you able to get all this funding from? In order to put all these flags around, that is something
that's what I call a national sacrifice.
Okay.
Sometimes, we have seen people. That's why I said I read a lot about other people's outside the world. I've seen people sacrificing their own life for their country, and today some people are benefiting from that. So me dipping in my heart in my pocket, so just to have more and mayonnaise as breakfast, but we use that money for a flower for a school. When they have more than 1,000 kids in that school, and you can change their concept of those kids. To me, it's better to give them and eat more butter than to use those things and all those things. So it was just a national sacrifice, and it was just, I think this is something that I just seen myself, and I always thank God that maybe it's not only my effort, but because of God made me that Gambian, and I love it, I like it. That's why even if Suare is not happy, I met Suare and he's not happy, I'm disturbed. Because that Gambian is here. So if I just look at you as a Gambian, you are just family. Understand? Let me go to the local down. Let's see what we're doing. The COVID-19 impact the impact of COVID-19, but it's important we talk about this, as you said. Before, in fact, this was Sanawia was very good in the Gambia. Okay, ikawita police rek ko mino jowalo flow lon rek ye jele ya gom okay I used to have this ya Gambia na badi ya na sinyo ya na hadama ya na gete ya na kende ya na hadama ya no everything was good in the Gambia but it's just out of recent something just came up, you know.
Those things are even fading away.
Yeah, it's fading away. So that what I want come more from alpha ka suti aka more sindi no sindi aka yin fenko dundi son wo kono. Ndanga I remember ndindi ma wata me brikama. Eka kodra fonje. Kodra different kodra le ke bolo kono la kele ko konton la.
That's where no matter what for.
Money for kodra kilo kono. Nyingara bolo sona nyara bolo sona
even bunkilunga fanga ikaje ni kontonga pareta ikabolo landi mo ite plateau ta ye kinobi yetasi exactly this what's western ideology also it is quite making things all of these traditions or whatsoever fade away gradually.
So even if you come to the next level in Narakadiam about the impact of COVID in our social life, you realize that all these things are some things that we take about.
Me, I'm thinking I think I would say maybe it's a shame or whatsoever. My principals, you can attack me, and my headmasters, you can attack me. I've gone the primary level, secondary and tertiary, tertiary I will even call it. But I was never lucky to see a national flag being raised in my school.
Exactly.
That's when you said like, everyone looking at one direction, I was like,
yeah, the
only time I'm trying to see the national flag is when it's Commonwealth Day in the primary school time, so we would design, and not everyone will love to go for the Gambian flag.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going for the American flag. So it's crazy, but I am very, very happy that you came up with this. But the discussions will be more, I would say, like, we'll go deeply into the discussions where we can inspire that journalism in them. That nationalism in them. But first, I think we have to go for a first break. So when we come back, we can discuss that. So I'm gonna celebrate my first break with the Passion Company by giving me a cup for a gift. Thank you so much, Passion Company in Senegal. But in the Gambia here, we have companies that are not able to do such. Thank you for celebrating us. Gambians, it's high time we start celebrating our very own. Till we come back from this break. Allah Baraka Baraka Mafali, welcome back to the Golden Bee Revolution TV show, episode 25. Comme ala nyam drong also na page follow no on Facebook la the Golden Bee Revolution tila and also Star TV la page la pour kalong ala nyam drong makacha kanne the Gambianism in you and the journalism mo yalan komba kumol fuke kuntola malo but these are things me am paninga muta they are the only thing me Gambia do kundila. The pair is so beautiful that I have a journalist and inculcating Gambianism in you. Ninga media use Kagamenism advocate, we will win it. But the problem is now Jamal Sadamiyanko call ourselves activists when we only limited to social media. Exactly. But here are two dynamic people whom they've taken the stage to push it ahead, to put the Gambia on a heavy ladder or the strongest ladder. It is not only by going to the social media and say I am this, that, but you have to take the actions from now. So thank you so much for coming to the Golden Bee Revolution, Miss Aisha. Which friends did I use here? But anyway,
madam.
I'm so happy that you come. Let me just very well. I'm not too gentle sometimes, so I will call you madam. Okay, Aisha, I know the journey to journalism was not very easy, and you made us understand that in anything that you want to have in this life, you have to sacrifice. You have to dip into your own pocket. You have to go for it. Believe in your passion, no matter what wave is changing your direction of sailing. You have to really get focused. This is saying like you wanted to become a journalist, but because your parents were not happy with that, you thought of like becoming a lawyer. It was not there, but still you still believe that nothing stopped you. Wave Solokan tried to send you out, but you still maintain it, and I know today your parents are celebrating because you're a journalist now.
Yeah, sometimes they will say, "Hi, I've heard somebody will just tell them, or somebody will call me, and he will like, I saw you on TV. Somebody just told me, and she was smiling." I think those are all the journey to making it perfect. Sometimes it's not so smooth. But then we have to weather the storm at some point in time.
So if I will ask you this question, sometimes I will speak to you like an average Gambian, especially a Gambian guy. we think there are certain jobs not meant for women. We associate jobs with gender, which is, I think, is a mistake. Common mistake, I would call it. What are some of the challenges you're facing as a journalist, especially being a female journalist?
Thank you for that question. You see, being a journalist and a female is quite very difficult. You have to be stubborn at some point, because sometimes you be with your male counterpart who think they are the ones to go everywhere and anywhere. But just push ahead. If they can, you also can. I have been somebody that has been very strong. Everybody talks about how stubborn I am when it comes to the job.
Wow.
I am quite very stubborn. I can vividly remember during this 3 years Jodna protest that passed. So people were going. No, even before then, there was this day that these soldiers were going to Darfur. And they were supposed to leave around 3 a.m.
Wow.
So I was assigned by my office to go and cover it. I went to the airport, the PRO saw me, and he was like, Aisha, what are you doing here? Where are the men? And I was like, it's okay. And there is something in my office, sometimes they don't differentiate between a man going here or a lady going here. Let it be in you. Sometimes it is not for people to select you. They should see in you.
Yeah.
You show them that I am able to do it, and you can. And that is what is happening in most female journalists in this country. They don't believe in themselves. The confidence is not there. And then I think if we all might come through the same way of becoming journalists, but at some times our male counterparts tend to beat us more because of we don't have that amount of confidence in us. When the 3 years Jodna protest came in, and everywhere was going, I went straight to my editor and told him that I was going to that protest. I have some health complications and all of that, but despite this, I don't allow it to be a deterrent for me to do what I want to do. When I was leaving, they were like, I said to you, you are not okay. Iman Kendia, don't go. I told them that I don't know for any other person, but I am going. I went to the place and people were packed full. There were so many people. That is the first protest. Everybody was there. It was too much of people pushing and whatsoever. Our minister had to call the DG. The DG called us and said we should leave the place. I told them that I don't know for any other person that the cameraman can't go back and the driver, but I am not going. I'm going to stay. As far as I am here, I am going to do it. I did everything I covered. At some point, the issue was so tense to an extent. It is Paul Steven of Star TV that had to be by my side to ensure that I am safe. Wherever I move, he moves and follows me. He told me that if I want to allow you here, they are going to beat you here, and nothing will come out of it. So he was, like, he was all over me. He was like, even if somebody wants to say something and I want to pay back, he would just drag me. Wow. That was how I was until we left that place. That
means like you have people who were trying to physically abuse you?
Yeah, exactly. Oh. So because of, you see, these people, most of them were angry, disgruntled and all of it. So sometimes you got into this push and push with them. At the end of the day, it might result to physical fight. But thanks to Paul Steven, who was all over me, and he was like, no, I'm not going. Even if I went, he was shouting my name, where are you? Just come back, and he would be dragging me and all of that.
Next time, because I would be like, Paul, you have to help me.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, it's not easy, but sometimes you have to push further as a female. The ground is not leveled, especially when you are somewhat almost the same shoulder with some of your male counterparts. They will tend to want to over shoulder you and all of that. So, but you shouldn't allow yourself to be there. Your confidence should keep you going. The passion for what you want to do should just keep you going. Sometimes even some of my colleagues at the office that I mail, they will like, I don't even mind them. Sometimes I get so angry and I was like, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. But I have sometimes when you are in most of these situations, have someone that you can lean on.
Exactly.
Somebody that could serve as your inspiration. And I had that. And I've never let them go. Even when I am in confusion, I had to go. Even before I want to do something, I have to consult them. That is Famara Fofana. Although he is still not with us, but I still consult him. Famara Fofana and Babukar Senghor. Sometimes even I would tell Babukar, I want to do. He was like, Aisha, you can do it. Just go ahead. Just do it. And yes, when he says that I have to force myself, I was like, hey, he said no. Sometimes even if I want to relax, he will just look at it. There is a way he looks at me. And I said, okay. I'll just move ahead. I'll go and do it.
You need to have that stubborn guy.
Yeah, exactly. So even if I want to just relax, he will like, Aisha, no, just move ahead. I produce our AM show for Mondays and Thursdays. Sometimes I would just do the scripting and everything. and I'll do it in a way, and this has always been me since when I was in school. I'll do it in a way. I'll be like, yeah, somebody is going to check to me. So I'll do. So there was a day he has observed it, and I do it deliberately. So there was a day he was like, Aisha, next time when you're doing the script, do it in a way that it is the same script you are going to use for presentation. When he said it, I felt guilty, and I was like, yes, Senghor, I do that deliberately. He was like, yes, I know you do it deliberately. Don't do that. That is the only thing. Don't do that. Do it. What happens when I am not here? What are you going to do? And I'll be like, okay, I will force myself. When I was in school, that used to happen too. Even I don't go through what I do. Exams, I will just write everything. I'll not go through. When I go through, I somewhat feel, but sometimes I even feel that I've done some things that are wrong.
That's my problem. If
Yeah.
I'm texting on WhatsApp,
Exactly.
People be like, Alaji, check your grammar. I don't have
I'll be like, I'm just going to do it there. So sometimes I'll be like, no worries. The lecturer or the person marking will just look at it. If he's supposed to edit it, if he's going to be merciful, let him be merciful. But I'm not going to check through anything.
I think the next question I will pose to you is going to be about the AM show. But first, allow me to have a kind of like...
Okay.
I want to have a little game here between me and you. It's going to be like, I think we call it a classical or whatever.
Exactly. Let's go.
Usaino, looking at the effort you were doing, this is not the limit of you. I am like, anytime I watch your actions, I've never seen you. I think you will attest to that. This is the first time.
Yeah,
very well, yeah. But anytime I look at your posts on social media, like the Facebook and also on WhatsApp Gambia, excuse me, WhatsApp Gambia, I call it here. Hello, maybe you can say something about me. But I think the Gambia is moving in the right direction if your steps are watched carefully. If you're giving us support, I think the Gambia will celebrate a lot. Let's take, for instance, now, you are in the media now. I know she can tell you some of the power.
The power, I know, I exactly know.
I'm giving you this opportunity now. You speak to the government of the Gambia. What is your limit? What are some of the things that if you have right now, the dream of seeing Gambia to unite, the unity that you've been singing, with the national flag here, the nationalism, the patriotism that you're preaching, can be a possible thing. And if you are entrusted with giving what you are going to do for us to celebrate the Gambia, I'm a millionaire. I'm ready to give you $1 million to work on your project. And if you fail me, I will jail you.
Exactly.
Do you think this is a fair challenge?
Yes.
The government
In fact, I'm ready to take any challenge on anything that is given for the sake of nationalism, for the sake of the flower of Gambia. And if Hussein fail, I'm ready to go up. Because the clear example is someone who is willing to sacrifice his own clothing and feeding and do it for a particular purpose. That person is not going to joke with anything that is given to him at that particular purpose. So my message to the government is, I've been saying this, I think this should be a national cause. Some people even tell me, Hussein, what you are doing should be a national, it should be like from a system, from the government.
Very well.
So anyone who's listening from a government department, I want to see the national flag raised in every institution in the Gambia, both private and public institutions. I also say this, with all due respect, you go to any institution, you see the pictures of the president in any office.
Decorated.
Yeah, decorated and put it in a frame. And that is not even since First Republic. But you realize that the pictures that were there in the 80s was the late Sarano Jawara, and they are no more there. The pictures that were there in our time, it was Yaya Jammeh, and it's no more there. And now we are seeing His Excellency's picture, Adam Barrow's pictures there. Tomorrow we see another picture. But the flag is something that is unique, that is permanent, since independent. Since 1965, it will forever be there. So this is something that we promote. So, as I said, this is a national campaign, this is a patriotic campaign. Any Gambian, I call it. And I say Gambian, you know what that means. Patriotic, all-loving Gambian. You think you can do anything for the Flower Gambia campaign to move? It's not even giving Hussein a phone. Come, let's work. This is not me. You come, you do the work. For me, I don't even mind about this. Keep the funding, just give me the resources, physical resources, then I'll do the work for you. One is to make sure that we reach out to all schools in the Gambia, okay, raise the flag there and talk to the kids. Two is produce songs that can inspire people for nationalism and togetherness. Three is to make sure any national event, any other thing let us showcase that sense of patriotism and nationalism and all those things. Whatever we are doing, let's make sure that the Gambia reflect in us. In that case, even traveling, and people travel and come, they saw what's happening in other countries. I equally used to give flags to most of the Gambians going for conferences, this training and all those things. And equally the Gambian artists too. But I'm so happy that now seeing how people are embracing the flag. I've seen the music videos with the national flag and all those things. When I talk about Gambian music, I have to thank Jizzle. The final concert, I was privileged to give him a flag. And after the concert, he donated 20 flags to institutions. And I went to CRRC to raise the flag there. The Red Council FAL also donated 10 flags for 10 schools. Okay, so you can see how inspiration that is. And
I want to cut you. I've heard you mention in several areas, locations. Did you ever raise the flag in the State House?
No, not yet.
Why are you waiting?
Okay, we've tried. I don't want to mention names here, but I've tried to reach out to people who can give me that access. In fact, to reach out to the highest authority in the Gambia, the people who they are very close to the president, but that access is still not. I even went to discuss with them about the concept of the flag.
Question, I gave you the chance to say anything to the government here.
Exactly. So
please speak to the president. Tell him that you want to raise the flag in the Gambia, and we the youths are saying the national flag needs to be raised there. If other people are not doing it, the youths are taking the lead.
Yeah, we're taking the lead. The saddest thing in the Gambia is I went to Korangul in Banjul. You have more than 4 ministries there, or 5 ministries. There's no single national flag. You can enter in Korangul and see it flying. Yeah, and I made effort. I met 2 different, there are a lot of institutions. 2 institutions, different institutions, for my intention of voluntarily raising the flag there. And I said, okay, the director is not around, wait for this one, and wait for this thing. So these are some of the things we have to, anything that is Gambian, we have to take it seriously. And this campaign also, I learned a lot of things about Gambian. Anything that is Gambian, people then tend to take it seriously. I remember the March Pass, we have invited a lot of people, a lot of even top government officials, ministers, in fact, but they don't show up because it's Gambia. But when it's something related to their own pocket or politics and all those things, everyone will show up. So I was like, if this is Gambia and they are not showing, what are they? Are they really Gambians and all those things? I think I invited some political parties came, and I was equally have the former DG called Sabali, who also supported the event very well. You have Rafi of R&A also supported to the event. I think these are the 2 Gambians that we are standing for, make sure that event works. So this is what we will. The government, this is not Usienu, this is the Gambians campaign. So come and invest whatever you can. Or if you want, don't even call me. I don't even want, there's some, if it doesn't, that I make sure the flag is everywhere in the Gambia, it's flying everywhere. But what is more important, it's not only about raising the flag. Raising the flag is also a way of preaching that togetherness, nationalism, patriotism, national unity, so as we move the Gambia forward. If you don't have, I used to tell them everywhere, the reason why I'll be a director, you gave me a project and I'll eat the money because I don't value the country. The Gambia is not here. If the Gambia is here, you'll even prefer to add something to that money than to eat it. Because you are not looking at your own level, you are looking at the young ones coming up, the children coming up. If you are a minister or you are a public officer, you are going to work late, or you are not doing what you are supposed to do, still now that Gambians is not here. The Gambians will be in you. You have that heart to deliver to your workplace because you have the work in you. He has the heart to invite people every week and make sure he is here on time, provide things. Because he has the work in him. If you don't have any, it will not go. So the only reason thing is, I have this slogan, the Gambian in us. This is not about Usienu, that's why I call it Flag of Gambia. Everyone is inclusive. Whoever thinks you have something to do with Flag of Gambia, you can reach out. It's not like you give it to Usienu. We work it together, we move it together, and together we make the Gambia a best place and a better place for all of us. And I can say that and say this again. If patriotism and love for the country is not here, we invest money in the country, but nothing is going to work. Because you have to love Star TV first before you can be ready to make sure Star TV move to another level. If not, if you don't love Star TV, you are just there as a mere staff. And every opportunity comes, you divert it to your home or any other place.
This will be
so that's the
work that she does.
Exactly.
The love for the
look at the sacrifice you are doing.
Today.
Yeah, you have it here. So that's the Gambian we are seeing. With all due respect, I used to tell them, look at our neighbors. One thing, the reason why they are moving is you can see that love.
Yeah.
Anywhere they are footballers, they are artists, they are anywhere they are. You see that Senegal flag flying. Everywhere. They talk about Senegal.
I think I will say this. Maybe we have about 5 key players in the Gambia here. As I cannot even pronounce it. The
Korangul, yeah.
Korangul, yeah.
It's where you have Ministry of Health,
the State
Finance,
the State House, the airport, and I'm sure you supplied the ferry terminal already. We were gonna look at maybe 2 other places where we are making it 5 key places in the Gambia here. We are going to raise the flag there. If the directors are around, whether they are or they are not, whether the director will approve it or not, Gambian youths are set to raise our flag in these places.
Exactly.
So I think we can do that.
You can,
If the youths were angry that we said we are going to the street to remind the government about the 5 years or the 3 years that they've been mentioning, we the youths, we are like taking the difficult way to get to the Europe and other places. Why are we not ready, or why are we not prepared to raise the flag in key areas where we will celebrate our Gambianism? I think it's high time.
Yeah, it's high time.
We are not going to wait. We are not going to kind of like bargain. It's a Gambianism, and I'm sure the directors will accept it.
Exactly.
So we work on a day where we can discuss this, and I have my team. I have people that I invited here who are designers and the like. We are going to form a partnership with you. It's not going to be like we're going to talk about it. The Golden Bee Revolution is. I'm going to be a dictator here. We are from here. We have signed a partnership that we will raise the Gambian flag in 5 key areas in the Gambia here. Directors will support it or not. I'm sure they will support it to support the Gambianism here, because it is not any other thing but Gambianism, the unity we celebrate here. I will give you quickly in 2 minutes or maybe in 3 minutes. You talk a little bit about the AM show, because we have 4 minutes to go.
Okay.
Then I give him to say his final statement.
Oh, for the AM show, it's an early morning program that we have every Mondays to Thursdays and on Saturdays too, where we bring in, we talk about current affairs issues, and then we bring in guests to talk about different issues, including sports and entertainment in it. This is an early morning or breakfast show per se.
Wow. So, what are some of the objectives that you look into there?
For that, we want to give viewers or so befitting morning to look at what is happening around us, and also not to take everything to be a formal issue. We have to get something also that will entice them and then make their morning to be great and all of that.
Wow. I hope we're going to celebrate Gambian flag one day there.
Certainly, yeah. As we were talking, I thought of bringing him, inviting him in. Okay. Not tomorrow, not on this week Thursday, but probably next week Monday, inshallah. And I've already officially invited you, and I know you're going to honor it.
Yeah, I give you the last so you have your
okay, yeah, thank you so much for this day and for this opportunity. You're doing good in very young people, and you talk about our thing. So my message is, we are in this COVID-19. I think the message is, let's follow also the safety precautions. Stay home if you are not going anywhere. Make sure put on your mask wherever you are going, and then you follow all guidelines. Together we move this country forward. Gambia is our Gambia. So together we move this country forward. We must stand together as one people with one goal and move forward as one nation. Without patriotism, this country will not move. So let's come together, build this sense of patriotism, talk to our kids about the Gambia, and we have a better nation for not only us, but the younger generations coming in. So thank you so much for this opportunity. The Golden Bee Revolution. Wow.
I have it from you.
Yes, I would also just like to say something very small. Looking at what has been happening as a result of the COVID, so many frontline workers have been infected.
Exactly.
That is, health workers, and the journalists who have a duty to save life, but then disseminate accurate information to save more lives. In this quest, most of them got contracted. That is also not the end of it all. We just still move forward. We have a duty, we have a responsibility to share it to a wider population about what we ought to do and ought not to do in our quest to ensure that everybody in this country is safe. Let's be focused, let's stay safe and ensure that all we do is in line with the WHO precautionary measures in the quest to fight the COVID-19. It might be difficult, but I am sure, quite sure that we are going to defeat it sooner rather than later.
And to all the disease, may all the departed souls, may their soul rest in perfect peace. So this is a national fight, but together we win the fight against COVID-19. A COVID-19 free Gambia, COVID-19 free world. Thank you so much.
COVID-19 kele among kolea. Mulwa wuru kan COVID kaje ka kolea tale. Wala among kolea. Mine diata ye pare ni maskola ye fon protect mi yanko la kayrolo. Do ba floko monta kele because monso kunna man son ka ko bay wala fendolo. Itel fon madu. Ni moya fon sa sande. Fajata yete fon sa sande ba. So it's very simple. Wear your mask. Ibuloku kafo avoid na sinsu kono na tele jibe na no bala use na fudu tamande.
Exactly.
Kajo ko na Gambia dema. Ye momin tanka ye fon tanka. Ni sila kende akanala mbasam bolal. Covid mu courant la but haru ngol londo watati la. Ye silo tandile se fon tanka no nyamina. O kan no daron. Stay tuned with Golden Bee Revolution na every Tuesday la. Kanana lena kamol nak na ke kachandi. So you item montel jibe kan. You could be the next Aisha of the Gambia. Me and journalism about celebrate kan and I motivate and you can be also the Usainu of the Gambia. Me and about Gambianism preach kanjela. So I am inspired to become a Gambian and also I am inspired to love my work as a media because of these two people. Come next week na journal makachala ko denga kaja ko Golden Bee Revolution mo fintindina. Even if drinking is your talent la, we will celebrate.
Exactly.
With that, see you next week. Bye bye.